Welcome to CAS 133, Columbia Gorge Community College, the Dalles, Oregon, Mrs. Hughitt instructor. We are headed into week 10. Week 10 has some differences depending on whether it's fall term or whether it's a different term throughout the year. Fall term has one extra week in it. So we'll kind of talk about both directions. So you've got your unit goals. You've got some stuff if you get stuck. You've got your directions, which are going to be very important to watch this week because there are some definite differences between our previous weeks. You have an Excel performance final. It may only be uploaded once, so please make sure you're happy with it before you upload. And you will find the information for it in your textbook. You're going to go clear to the back, and there's some projects called capstone projects. That's the thing I want. These capstone projects are basically designed to be sort of, now that you've done this much, what can you do on your own type of projects? And they're put together as a whole group of projects like an Excel, a PowerPoint, a Word, an Access project, all those types of things. For Capstone Project 2, which is the one you will be doing for this test, you will only do the Excel project. So all of this is going to be ignored. You start right here on the bottom of page 19, Cap 19. You're going to read the information, go over to the next page, and using the information on the page, you will start the process of step-by-step going through it. You do need to use correct formulas. You do need to follow the directions carefully. You do need to add colors. You do need to go through and complete the project all the way through part 2, which is going to show up here. Instructions part 2. So you're going to come down all through the projects. Make sure if it sends you back to change anything, you go make those changes. You complete the chart or the pie graph. Make sure it looks like this. It's kind of a puke green color. You will notice over here on this page, it's kind of a light green and a blue-green type color. The exact theme, of course, is going to be an issue again. So what's new? So just make your colors pretty well match your pictures on the page. And then when you turn over to this page, you'll notice it says part 3. You do not do part 3. Part 3 is not part of your assignment. That is past where we've worked in the textbook. So you're only going to go to the bottom of page 21, Cap 21. That will be your final assessment. Make sure you go through and you're happy with it before you upload it. Because once you've uploaded it, it's uploaded. You don't get a second run through it. Well, I wasn't really trying to move that. Let's let go of that. Try that again. So that's your Excel performance. You're also going to be looking at digital cameras this week. We're going to be talking about the use and purchase of digital cameras. And then you've got a folder with digital camera information and directions you're going to go through. You're going to write a response. Your response is going to be uploaded in Word. And it needs to be a couple hundred words long, at least, you know, the half page to a page type of thing. You need to focus on, if you were buying a camera, what would meet your needs? I, again, don't want a brand, make, and model. I don't want you to go out and look up and say, oh, I want a Sony Sure Shot, yada, yada, because next week that camera won't be available. They change quickly. What type of camera? They're the point and shoots that are basically the small handheld ones that you can drop in a pocket, a purse, or whatever. And then there are the kind of bridge cameras that are built more like a larger digital SLR camera, but their lenses are not removable. They are still kind of a point and shoot though. And then they're the digital SLRs. They're the ones where they're like the old 35 millimeters where you can take the lenses on and off and get different types of zooms. One of the things the PowerPoint talks about is digital versus optical zoom. And digital and optical zoom apply to the point and shoot and bridge type cameras. They do not apply to digital SLRs. You can't do an optical or a digital type of zoom on them because they don't zoom. You remove a lens and use a different lens. Yes, the lenses will then twist in and twist out, but that's not what they're talking about when they're talking about a digital or optical zoom on a point and shoot type smaller camera. So if the lens comes on and off, then the digital and optical go out the window. They're not part of the conversation anymore. If you cannot remove the lens from the camera, then that's part of the conversation. That always shows up as confusion, so now I've taken care of that, I hope. Then we're going to learn about databases, but we're not going to actually work with them this time, simply because there's no way that just doing one project out of a textbook is anywhere near going to get you able to actually use a database in any sort of a form as far as administering, setting up, running it. We all use them on a daily basis. If you've ever Googled, or you've gone to eBay, yep, or you bought something off, or even just looked at Amazon.com, you've used databases. Those are all run by some very powerful databases. So given that, we're going to learn a little bit about what databases are, and that's going to be our focus of our discussion with our forum this week. So you're going to go in and read the instructions and information, find out some more about databases. Databases versus spreadsheets. That's a big confusion. People seem to think they're the same type of program. That's sort of like saying, oh, I can use Word and PowerPoint. They're the same. No, they're not. Yes, they both allow you to write in them, but that's about it. They're pretty different other than that. Well, databases and spreadsheets are the same thing. People look at them and say, oh, yeah, I can just use those. Those are the same. No, they're not. They're pretty different if you really understand the intricacies of what they can and cannot do. And some more introduction to the Access program, which happens to be the Microsoft version that you will have with some versions of the Microsoft Office program. And then there's a tutorial when they talk about, again, spreadsheets and databases and which one should you use. So you're going to go through all of those. Shouldn't take you too long. And then once you've gone through those, you'll have a better idea to have an intelligent conversation. Now, if this is winter, spring, summer, the information for the following week's final project will be there. If this is fall term, this will be all closed and hidden. You will not see it there. Now, there's one more assignment that goes with this week, and I may need to figure out a way to make that a little bit more obvious in here because I can see that it's not really obvious that there's another assignment. And that is you have the choice of doing either a Chapter 3 PowerPoint learning project or a Chapter 3 Excel learning project. So let's look at those for a second. There is not an application project this week. So I'm now still in Word. So I've got to get out of Word, get past PowerPoint 2, and get into Chapter PowerPoint 3. So this would be going into PowerPoint Chapter 3. And you would be doing this Watch for Motorcycle Safety PowerPoint. I guess I still need to get the data files for those two too. So that's the other thing I still need to do. Just caught that. So those will be there, and a little bit more directions will be in Moodle. I need to clean that up a bit. And there you go. You're going to have this PowerPoint, and again, you're just going to go through all the pages of directions to complete it. Now, that's for people that think, gee, I wish I'd had a little bit more PowerPoint. I can really use PowerPoint. I know there are more tips and tricks. And there's actually a 1-credit PowerPoint class. It's only offered a time or so a year. So if you ever see it go by and want to take it, grab it then. Don't say, oh, I'll take it next term, because next term it probably won't happen. Some of you are like, I want to learn Excel. That's why I'm really here. I wish I had a little bit more Excel. So we've done 2 of the chapters of Excel. So we're kind of coming to the end of that Excel chapter, and we're now into Excel chapter number 3. And this is going to get a lot more complicated. If you were having problems with chapter 1 and 2, if you felt the final performance test was like a little bit out of your league and you were like really frustrated and wanting to call it unkind names, then you probably don't want to do this chapter. You probably want to do the PowerPoint, because you're going to be making a lot larger spreadsheet, a lot more formulas and things in it to complete it. So that is your choice between using a learning project for either PowerPoint Chapter 3 or a learning project for Excel Chapter 3. And I will get those data files there for you. I think that pretty well does week 10. See you again next week.